the main idea today is to have a conversation related to that and related to how all these crises, not only coronavirus crisis, also in Chile, the social outbreak moment since October last year has been pushing the Chilean state to transform, but to really transform in different areas and different levels. So I'm gonna share the screen. And I will apologize in advance because of my English is so I will do my best. So in Laboratorio Gobierno, that is the agency in the Chilean government, in the Chilean state, in charge of fostering public sector innovation, the last year has been very intense, and we are now realizing very important learnings that I will share with you today. And the title of this presentation is not only digamos how I say, it's not only a vision, it's what we are doing every day in the lab to try to move from a very static, non-friendly, very slow, and very conservative public sector institutions to a new kind of state that is very connected to people, that is very connected to new technology, that is very connected to the central role that must to play as a state, as government. So in terms of the context and the opportunity that this context give us, as I was mentioned in the beginning, these two historical crises for public sector innovation are a very good, how I say, partner, because these crises are pushing with a lot of energy to have better politics, to have a better state, to have a better management inside the public sector, and also to use not rocket science, not the border kind of technology, but to use technology that is massified right now in Chile or in the world, that we are not using in terms of the management, the design, and also in the implementation of new solutions to really tackle social problems. So we are in the last month, we realized and we have some examples, very concrete examples of public sector innovations that have, for example, the challenge of having an effective communication from the government to the citizens, that it's key in the pandemic, for example, the quality and the tools to connect the state with the citizens are maybe the most important duty of any government. How to communicate, how to use, for example, clear language, how to use some techniques from behavioral science, for example. And we are dealing with that in this moment. The other level is, or the other opportunity is related to have more decisive and more resolutive, I will say, resolutive attention in the whole areas of the government, and have a more, the other level is have a more omni-channel way to view and to do the attention to the people in areas like social benefits, housing, or maybe others. Another challenge and a huge opportunity that we are facing is related to productive telework, and it's related to how not only to have the permission to be available to work in distance. It's a more challenge related to the methodologies of work, how you are going to organize the work. And in March, we realized that in the beginning of the pandemic, and we developed the first toolkit to do that with the civil service, that is the agency in charge of all the human resources policies in the government. Also, we have another challenge that I think maybe it's the more structural one, that is related to the silos. Any government, not only the Chilean government, it's designed and it's operated like silos. So we have different products and services managed by different agencies, but sometimes the bad news that it's many times do not talk between these services and products. And for the user, for the citizens, it's very confused and very complex deal with that. So we are now working with the Ministry of Finance and the National Office of Budgeting to really understand in a more wide way, for example, all the governmental programs related to economy and work. There is more than 200. So maybe we are, for one side, duplicating efforts. For another side, we are not solving specific problems. So we have some how I say, lack of efforts. And we are now trying to link these services and programs as a unique, how I say in English, a change of value related to the travel of the user in the interaction with the public sector. And last but not least is the efficiency. We must be efficient with the public expenditure, because first of all, it's money that all the country is adding with different taxes to the public sector, and of course it's not limitless, and we have a moral duty to be very, very efficient and to put the focus not in how much money I'm spending and how much money I have to spend in a period, in 1 year, to put the really focus and the energy in the impact of that expenditures. So this is a huge opportunity for public sector innovation, for what we are doing in the government lab, in Laboratorio de Gobierno, and we are installing at the end a new paradigm of design, a new paradigm of implementation, because when we are talking about innovation, it's not only the process of co-creation, the process of prototyping, that is very important. We have to put effort and to have a framework to really have a good implementation, because in the implementation, it's the key process to have a good or a bad policy, not only in the design. And sometimes in governments, we are not seeing that. So design, implementation, and public management is part of what we are doing with a paradigm of innovation, of user-centered innovation. And this is our paradigm, putting the users in the center of everything that the government does, have a systemic strategy. We cannot work in silos. Understand that the government or the lab or some specific agency has not all the answers to all the very complex questions that we are facing. Use the evidence, and this is, I think, the most difficult change of paradigm. In Chile, we say tincada. I don't know how to translate to English, but it's like how is it, corazonada? Maybe Mario can help me. You are mute.
It's like a guess, but I guess based on the stomach, it comes from the inside.
Yeah, we cannot continue to doing public policy from the stomach, guys. This is very critical. And now the good notice, the good news is that we have data. We have a lot of data, and we have to start using that data. And the other principle for us is put efforts and focus on implementation in the last mile of the project. What we need, we were talking about this, a more friendly, more empathic state, and agile, not only in terms of the velocity, also in terms of the capacity to transform and to capacity to be flexible also. We are now having a role like a head of design in the government. And this is part of the evolution of Laboratorio Gobierno. At the beginning, we were not the head of design of the government. We were one of very different agencies. We were in a sectorial ministry, and right now we are in the Ministry of the Presidency. So we are very connected to the agenda, to the decisions, to politics, but also with a very technical base and with a very technical point of view. This is the video. It's in Spanish, but I will show you because I think it shows the, how I say, the, a flavor of what we are doing.
¿Por qué es necesario innovar dentro de las instituciones públicas? ¿Por qué necesitamos dejar de hacer las cosas como siempre las hemos hecho para comenzar a pensar y trabajar de una forma distinta? Una idea no nace sola. Una buena idea nace luego de conocer el problema, explorarlo, darlo vuelta y volver a mirarlo desde otro ángulo. Las ideas útiles y oportunas nacen de mentes que se arriesgan a pensar distinto. Desde nuestro primer día como laboratorio de gobierno, hemos creído que las soluciones para mejorar los servicios públicos no nacen dentro de 4 paredes y que pueden venir de las personas y los lugares más inesperados. Que desde el centro del gobierno podemos articular y acelerar cambios profundos en problemáticas prioritarias para el país. Creemos que innovar tiene que ver con transformar la realidad de las personas, pero por sobre todo, con trabajar juntos, poniendo las distintas experiencias a nuestro favor, llegando a soluciones simples, factibles de implementar y por sobre todo útiles. Queremos pensar que el Estado está vivo y no es un ente estático compuesto solo de burocracias. Creemos que el Estado está hecho de personas que día a día trabajan por entregar mejores servicios, que escuchan, que se conectan con las necesidades de los ciudadanos, que aportan, que transforman. Nuestra labor es mejorar los servicios acompañando a servidores públicos e instituciones en sus procesos de innovación con un norte claro. Potenciar un Estado ágil, moderno y amigable para las personas.
This is a video from our last anniversary. So, in summary, what is Laboratorio de Gobierno? Is the government agency that depends from the Ministry of the Presidency, who is accelerating the transformation of public services for the people, putting this new approach at the center of design, implementation, and management. And how we are doing this, co-creating new solutions to priority and cross-sectorial problems, and installing capabilities to innovate, in the institutions, in the public servants. And we are doing this with 3 different services: agile projects, like internal consultancy for the government, a very massive network of public innovators, and this is very new. We are going to launch this in the next days, a new and the first in the world public sector innovation index, to really measure which capabilities we need to transform the Chilean state. In which kind of things we are innovative, we are in the process of innovate? Well, in different levels. In the level of strategy, in the level of services, also in the level, and this is very important because this is the kitchen of the government, in the processes, and also in the organizational level. So we have different kind of disciplines, different kind of consultants in the team. It's a very diverse team, and we are very proud of this, not only in terms of the technical capabilities, also in terms of the culture. We have different religions, different backgrounds. It's a very diverse group. And this is critical. And this is not an invention of the Laboratorio de Gobierno. Google and Facebook realized that 30 years ago. And how we work now in these 2 services: agile projects to explore and solve very critical and important problems, and a network to connect and train people, to have a decentralized movement to innovate. Why we are doing this? To be efficient with the expenditures, to create more trust between citizens and government, and to improve coordination, that is very critical in public sector. And what is the key KPIs in general? Productivity and quality of services. This is our current and very new methodology to face project management, with an agile, flexible, and incremental approach. We have monthly work cycles to tackle problems, and in 4, maximum 5 months, we are understanding the problem, seeing the best solutions, testing and prototyping them, piloting, evaluating, and then implementing. Because we don't have so much time, and also in this world that is accelerating in this velocity, we must be agile. How is this sustainable? The head of the services, if we are working with the Ministry of Housing, the minister himself must to be in the how I say, the strategic committee of the project. Then we have to have we must have high dedication of the teams, of the civil servants. This is not a work alone of the consultants, of the experts from the lab. This is a co-create process with the civil servants, with the academia, with the users, with everyone. Sometimes with SMEs, startups. We must to tackle priority problems. We are not a sandbox to only test methodologies and say, oh, this is very interesting, we are innovating. No. This is a laboratorio de gobierno in the center of the government, in the center of the agenda. So we must tackle central problems. Then we need the commitment to implement the solutions, and we need to measure impact. Some examples of this. FONASA. FONASA is the National Healthcare, how is it in English? Not program, insurance. FONASA attend the 80% of the population. And with FONASA and with many civil servants, hundreds of civil servants that participate in this process, we really reinvent the value proposition and the attention model of FONASA. And we co-create this new model, center, of course, in the users, with a more resolutivity process, with an omni-channel point of view, with effective communications, and with a lot of change, not only in terms of the process, not only in terms of the touch points, website touch points, the offices touch points, also creating an internal way to be more effective at the time to really solve a problem. For example, if affiliated to FONASA is blocked because the company where he's working doesn't pay in the time the payments to be part of FONASA, okay, this is very critical, because if you are blocked to enter to the healthcare system. So you cannot, for example, have a surgery. And if you are needed to have this surgery, okay, you need a very fast and very concrete answer. So we restore and reinvent the process in these different levels to have a more resolutive answer. And we pass from a reality of 30 days of waiting for the users to less than 24 hours. And that's a good example that you can do really better if you are innovative in your processes, in your organization. We did all the change of the structure of the organizational chart of FONASA. And this is a very specific solution because we deliver a set. When we are working with one or with several institutions, we design and deliver a set of ecosystem of solutions. This is one example. And this idea came up from a bottom-up process, from an open innovation contest inside FONASA, with more than 1,000 civil servants applying. And these solutions, that is Hoy Nací Soy FONASA, I'm Born and I'm FONASA, is an interoperability solution to really automatize the affiliation process of a newborn, of a son, of a daughter, of an affiliate. Since this is have a tremendous impact in terms of public value, government proactivity, user-centered approach from FONASA, opportunity access to the system, and in less than 6 months, more than 100,000 families were beneficiated with this system that is 100% digital and automatic. And this is part of a seamless government. Another example is the new channel that we deliver and we co-create with.
Sorry, Roman. We are on time for
Okay.
the conference, and maybe we
Okay.
can do a couple of questions. It's
Okay.
really
No
interesting
problem.
what you're showing to us. And one question is when we are thinking in countries like Chile and Mexico, focus in this, why is design thinking, it is human-centered design focused to the government? What is the main challenge that you have in when you begin with this initiative in the government? What is the main obstacles or challenges that you have to solve with the government? Because in our countries, it's really difficult to do it, no?
It's very connected with what I was saying at the beginning of the presentation. How is this innovation process and the innovation results, because results are important, sustainable? And how I say, the difficult part of this is related, first of all, to find good partners, a ministry or a national director that is really committed to the transformation of the institution, to the transformation of what they are doing, and to have to put his or she's political how I say capital in the process. This is very critical, and this is part of our selection process. We are not working with everyone.
Yeah.
We are working with the institutions, the teams, and the authorities that they understand in general. Of course, we are helping in this, but they understand that they have to change. They want to change. They will put effort in this process, and also they have a very priority problem to tackle. So in the process, of course, we must challenge, we must face, and we are facing tensions in terms of budgeting, tensions in terms of the culture, the internal culture. The civil servants sometimes have fear to the change, and this is very human. So we are working with them to really use their knowledge to transform the institution and to get from a point A to a point B, with the thinking that the point B will be better for everyone, for the users, for the authorities, for the civil servants.
Okay, thank you.
Roman, I would like to share with you one of the questions from the audience. They sent this question from Hopping. Governments come and go. What is going to happen with Laboratorio de Gobierno when a new government arrives with new ideas?
Ah, that's a good question, my friend. The good news is that now Laboratorio de Gobierno it's very bold, and it's bold because of the results. The results talks by itself. This is very important, and I'm talking this with a lot of government labs in the world, not only in the region, in Europe, in the States. Chile is, I think, and not only I think, many agencies like Inter-American Development Bank, OCDE, and others see Chile as a role model in terms of public innovation lab. And why is that? Because we are now not a project from one government or the other. We are now an agency that we are 5 years old. It's not so much, but it's enough to show results, and not only to show results, to increase our approach and our kind of results in a very exponential way in the last 2 years. And being in the center of the government is very critical to that. Of course, maybe the head of the lab will change. This is very obvious, maybe. But for example, in my case, I was in the founding team of the lab in the last government. I was the first deputy director, and now I'm the executive director in another government with a lot of support and with a lot of commitment to this public innovation agenda. So I think Chile, in this case, has shows maturity. And for example, one thing that we're developing now, because agile projects will change, and that's correct because needs are changing. But this public innovation index that we are delivering in the next days, it's very important because it will be how I say, annual measurement of how we are doing in terms of public innovation in Chile, in the central government, at the beginning at least. And this will be our guide to understand which capabilities are better or which capabilities we have a lack of to really foster innovation inside the public sector. And this will be also a product of exportation from Chile to the world. I don't know if we have more questions, or maybe
I don't know if we have other question, or we move to the other activities that we have on the schedule. Okay, no more question for hopping. Okay, so I have here other question. Let me think about it. And or Mario, you have other question because when we are working in the government with user-centered design, is how much time how many times you spend to develop the project? I guess is depend, because the size of the project you select if you can perform because in the government some projects that have a lot are really large, the projects, no, and some are really small. So how you make the measure or the balance between small and large projects?
Good question. In 2018, we redesigned very deeply our business model, our service model as a lab. That is what I just present to you. We realized that we have different size of projects, of course, like the t-shirts. Small, medium, large, and sometimes extra large. So when we face a new project, how is the process? We have a open form, online form. Mm-hmm. Every ministry or agency in the national government can apply in every moment. It's very flexible. And every 3-4 weeks, we are evaluating internally first, and then with our governance in the Ministry of the Presidency, we are analyzing which, with different, of course, how I say, with different criteria. Thank you, Alejandro. With different criteria. Which are the best opportunities to really enter. And then we select the client, the partner, the problem, and the institution. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 3, 4, 10 institutions, for example. And then we project the size of the project. we estimate if it will be a small one, medium, large, or extra large. And that will and that will be very connected to how many consultants will be related to the project, and how many cycles of these agile monthly cycles will have the project.
Thank you, Roman.